Hello, welcome to Me Time with Ruby, with myself, Charlotte, and Amanda, the owner of Ruby Lala. It's nice to be back on the sofa. We missed a week last week.
No, we did.
For very special reasons. Lots of birthdays.
Ruby Lala's birthday.
Ruby Lala's birthday. It's my little boy's birthday, your birthday, my
Your
birthday.
Invaded by Taurians.
Yes, absolutely. No wonder it's mad in here.
Yeah, lots of birthdays. Lockdown birthdays again, semi-lockdown birthdays.
Yes.
Last year was a lockdown birthday, wasn't it? So.
Well, it was. Did you do anything? Did you manage?
We actually, I must just say, we had some friends come up that live in Somerset, and they came up for the day, and we had a cream tea sort of in the garden stroke with the patio doors wide open because of the yucky weather.
Yes.
But he proposed to her in Ruby Lala.
Oh my goodness!
I know.
So
congratulations to Sue and Mike in Somerset.
Congrats!
I know.
Oh, that's magic.
So I think there's a wedding to go to on the 22nd of August.
Oh, so all of Farnham needs to get their dresses ready. I'm assuming we're all invited.
So it was really lovely because Sue had come in and was looking around Ruby Lala, and it was just so perfect. And I was up here with her. She was looking at a dress for Mike's son's wedding in October, and she was trying on a dress which had a beautiful cut to it actually. We said it was very sort of Jackie Onassis type style. And she tried on a fascinator, and the angle of the fascinator, just very 50s, 60s, just very wonderful line.
Yes.
It's just beautiful. So she had that, and just Mike got this urge, apparently, he had been thinking about it, but he got this urge when he saw her all dressed up for a wedding to actually propose for their own wedding. So he ran downstairs and got one of our £9.99 rings off the counter.
It's like when people have these little jelly rings.
I hasten to add Sue wasn't going to keep that as her proper engagement ring, so they did end up going to a lovely little jeweller's in Farnham and got a beautiful diamond ring that afternoon, and so we celebrated her engagement as well as her birthdays. I must hasten to add as well that Sue's birthday was the same day, so it was 10th of May, so we both shared the same birthday.
Gosh.
So that's why she'd come up for the day.
Yeah,
and
so many birthdays.
Yeah. So
and you know, there's about 3 people, or 4 people even, this year that people have said, oh, I'm the 17th of May too, and I've never found a birthday twin, and I've found about 4 this year.
Oh, really?
Which I'm actually a bit annoyed about, because it's my day, no one else can have it.
But I don't know, it was funny because if you wind back 9 months, that makes us August conception birthdays.
Yes.
And my mum had great joy in telling me that I was conceived in Ramsgate. That's a claim to fame. Nothing against Ramsgate, by the way.
It's just not the information you want, though, is it, really?
Too much information, really.
Lovely.
Probably why there's lots of May babies around.
Yes, absolutely. Well, and also Ruby Lala. I'm assuming you
2
conceived
years.
Ruby Lala around August?
Actually, strangely, you saying that, and as you said that, I've just realised we actually registered the company in the August.
Oh, wow.
And then opened the following May. So, yeah, that's really weird,
So
actually. I just thought that. So, yes, Ruby Lala was conceived in August.
That's really strange.
And then we opened in May 2019.
And was that here? Was that when you opened here?
Well, there was a long story behind it. So we originally wanted Farnham, couldn't find anything in Farnham, so then went on to looking at Fleet, widening our geographical area to look at. For one reason or another, Fleet didn't actually materialise, but we had a temporary location in Fleet, which is still lovely. Even 2 years later, I still have customers from Fleet come over,
nice.
which is really nice. So actually, then when we did look back in Farnham, this came up. This hadn't even gone on the market. It went on the market sort of that week that we saw it and went for it. So
meant to be.
It was meant to be, yeah. So
well, one of the things we're going to talk about this week is you and Ruby Lala.
Talking about me.
So this is actually a very special first guest interview for Ruby and Me Time, because we're going to be interviewing Amanda, the founder of Ruby Lala. So I have a few questions for you, potentially for sort of budding business entrepreneurs, also fashionistas, people who are kind of local or loyal to Ruby Lala. I just thought I'd do like a whole sort of raft of questions just to interest everyone. I have got my Barbie book ready. This was one of my birthday presents from my friend. She knows me well.
I love it. It's really cool.
It's very professional as well. Right, I've got name at the top here, so we know it's Amanda. So we're going to go on to age. No. Name of the shop. How did the name Ruby Lala
do you
come
know,
about?
so many people ask me that, and some people automatically assume my name's Ruby, which
We
I'm
get
not
that on
gonna-
Instagram quite a lot. Oh, hi Ruby! It's really lovely.
It's interesting because that was probably the hardest thing. So we did a business plan, and over the period of about 9 months we worked on a business plan. When I say we, that was my husband and I, because though he's not part of Ruby Lala, he's very involved from day one and very encouraging from day one. It was actually his idea in the first place, but there you go, that's probably another question. So I'll try and keep this as brief as I can, but it's not brief because it took us about a year to come up with a name, because every time we came up with a name, I wanted something to do with my late mum, or something to do with part of my boys' names to put together. If I'd had a really extravagant name, I might have named the shop after myself, but Amanda's didn't, not that I've got any problem with the name Amanda, but it just didn't seem to flow. So I really didn't know what to call it. So to cut a very long story short, we had hundreds of names, and it's a bit like when you have a baby. I don't know if you find this, when you have a baby and people say, what are you thinking of calling it? And you say, and some people say, oh, that's lovely, and some people say, oh, you know.
You've got a book of 50,000 babies' names, and you end up just closing your eyes and pointing.
So it was really, really difficult to come up with a name, and every name, you know, some people, you know, business friends were like, that's not really a business name, and blah, blah, blah. So in the end, I thought, I was looking at all sorts of different things. I mean, my husband's suggestion was pink armadillo, but anyway, we won't talk about that one. But I thought, do you know what, I love music, so if I can think of something relating to music, because I wasn't getting very far on the other related stuff, so I started looking at loads of songs, and basically I came across Ruby Tuesday by the Rolling Stones.
Yes.
And I thought, fantastic.
Beautiful.
Ruby Tuesday. I was born on a Tuesday. That song was released in 1966, which was the year I was born. Perfect. I'll call it Ruby Tuesday.
It's falling into place. But.
And also, as a little girl, I know these are black and white pictures. These are my mum's shoes, but apparently when I was from this age, I loved fashion, clearly, and I always wanted to wear red shoes. So, and Wizard of Oz. So Ruby, that colour and everything was just perfect. So I went to register it, already taken, which is what I'd had with all of them. So I thought, well, I like Ruby, and I literally sat there. It was one evening. My husband Dave was watching telly, and by this time I was just pretty cheesed off. And I was just literally banging the desk going, that's it, Ruby Lala. And without asking anybody, not even my husband who had consulted all the way along, I just typed in Ruby Lala on Company's House. It was available and registered it. Walked into the lounge and said, I've called it Ruby Lala. And Dave said, love it, and everybody says love it.
Oh, I've got chills. That's amazing.
That's how it came about.
Yeah, that's fabulous.
I wish it was a bit more elaborate.
No, but the Ruby aspect, obviously, that really sort of was the hook, wasn't it? And then the fact that you like music, la la.
Love it. La la la. And because I never know the words to a song anyway, I was generally going la 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 la. But it was purely out of frustration and literally banging. So the la la was just banging because I was so frustrated. And like I say, a year it took me to come up with a name.
Well, fabulous. And you found it.
Yes,
so that's
I
amazing.
love it.
And it's really unusual, I think, as well. It's a very unique name, which is what's so nice. Lovely. That's a nice story. So you started it 2 years ago.
We first opened on the 18th of, we were open temporarily for a couple of months before that at a temporary location, but we officially opened here in Farnham on the 18th of May.
Perfect.
2019.
And your birthday was the 10th?
10th.
Gosh, so that was like a double.
Yeah.
Double
we closed for half of it, obviously, with COVID.
Well, yes.
Pretty much a year nearly, but...
So my next question might be a bit of a big one. Why did Ruby Lala come about? Why wasn't it just a dream that got left on the shelf like so many business ideas do? What was the spurring?
Because, and lots of people, actually interestingly, lots of people said don't do it, retail's dying, which I don't believe it is. I believe that people do want to have that experience, they do want to have that face-to-face contact. Yes. I think also it's very important to still have that face-to-face contact. Don't get me wrong, I do buy the odd thing online, but
Well, Ruby Lala's online, isn't
yeah,
it?
it is.
It's
I don't encourage people
life,
to buy
really?
online as much. I much prefer customers to come in the shop. But I wanted to create the experience, I guess, and that was important to me, to get people to come out to a location, to a shop. I've completely forgotten what the question was.
Why didn't it just stay on the shelf?
Oh yes. So I think because maybe I underestimate myself, but I think because I'd always give it a go. So friends were saying don't do it, retail's dying, and I thought, do you know what? What's the worst that can happen? The worst that can happen in life is that to me that you die. But if it doesn't succeed, it doesn't succeed. But if you don't give something a go, you'll never know.
No, exactly.
And the worst that could happen is we could lose some money. And
Yeah,
so some people that is
you.
mortifying.
Yeah.
But it's not going to kill me.
Whereas some people, that's such a scary idea that it just won't work.
And it is scary, but sometimes fear drives us to do things.
Yeah.
And also, I know that I've got a good man by my side, and though we're very different, we're like chalk and cheese, we're both, I wouldn't say we're entrepreneurial, but we will give something a go and we will work at it and we will try it. So if Ruby Lala didn't succeed, it wouldn't be through lack of trying.
Yes.
And I felt that I had what it took. I don't do figures, so it's great that Dave does. He's very logical. I'm very airy-fairy, very feeling orientated. So that's what I mean. We balance each other out.
Well, you said to me that you're not a businesswoman, and I get what you're saying, because obviously you weren't for so long. I mean, you ran your own business, didn't you? But as in running a sort of, here's a business, here's Ruby Lala, the shop. But actually, you obviously are a businesswoman, because so many people, as I say, so many people would love to run their own boutique, or my mum always says, I'd love to run a little clothes shop, but obviously this isn't a little clothes shop, this is a sort of almost like a little mini department store almost, but it's never happened. She's never done it, and probably like 95%, 99% of the population, whereas you actually took the bull by the horns and did it. And I think it's that little push that makes you stand out, I suppose.
I think it was just a case of, I mean, I was in a career for almost 20 years, or for 20 years, a career that I loved. I was a psychotherapist, loved I love people, so I think that is the basis of the shop. I'm also not frightened to make mistakes, so I've learnt on the job really, and that in some ways I don't think it's ideal, but it is what it is. I've made lots of mistakes, learning a lot. Even now, I'm learning 2 years later, a lot about a business and how things are going, and I'm quite excited that we're evolving. But I have made mistakes, and I don't mind, as long as we learn from those and don't repeat the mistakes.
Yes.
Then, to me, that's okay.
Times.
Yeah.
So would that be kind of your advice to people who are thinking of maybe starting a business of any size? Just don't be afraid to make that mistake. Just sort of take that chance.
Yeah, and don't be afraid to make mistakes. Don't be afraid to say sorry. Little things that I think just sometimes now, it's like, we can't make mistakes. We do. We're human.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm not perfect.
Everything is so airbrushed now, isn't it?
Yeah. And I just think it's just, I don't know. I think that's where the passion comes from, really. And like I said, I've never had any fashion experience. We were rejected over and over again when we went for financial backing. We were rejected when we went for premises. We were rejected.
Really? Gosh.
It was really difficult to get. I mean, our landlords are fantastic. They started as a new business. They actually owned the shop and ran a business in it, and they set up their own business, and they wanted to give me an opportunity. But a lot of landlords wouldn't take on a new business. We were going to fail, and actually that made me more determined not to fail.
Good. I'm glad that made
we were going to fail. I just think we just thought, we just got to go for it. Really, we have just got to go and make the most of what we have. So I would really, just encourage people to go for it.
Yeah, if you've got it in your heart to do it, sometimes you've just got to push yourself out there, out your comfort zone, as they say. And I think as you were saying, actually shopping isn't dying. I think what possibly is slightly going out the door a bit is the big old department stores, because actually that's almost like the physical version of online shopping now, isn't it? And it's a bit more faceless. I always mean all the different shops, and you kind of go into these huge warehousey, sort of huge floors and floors of shops in one place, and it can be a bit overwhelming. There's so many staff milling around that you don't know kind of who to talk to and who's where, and they're always a bit big and empty. And so many department stores are shutting down, but actually I think that's where these sort of smaller boutiques will come into their own.
I think so, and as a consumer, as somebody that shopped, like I said, I never really had fashion experience. I never had retail experience. We rejected fashion. I love fashion. Yeah. And I remember when, just going back to what I was saying, when we were refused, what the feedback was that I have no fashion experience and no retail experience. And my husband jokingly said, they obviously don't know you because you can shop. You can shop for anybody, and it's true. And so that really helped me though. I think being someone that was interested in clothes. I didn't have fashion experience, and I still don't, hence why we use you for a lot of our marketing, because I still don't. I should really probably do a bit more homework than I do, but I have always loved clothes from 18 months old.
I didn't realise that was you.
Did you not realise?
No, I can see it now. You don't look a day older.
But I'm also, at the age of 55, I'm a bit of an old-fashioned girl, and traditional, as well as I do have some modern aspects. But so the whole shopping experience was really important to me, in that I shopped in certain places quite regularly, and excuse me, it's because I'm talking, so I'm not talking.
Not used to talking.
Nobody ever wants to listen to me so much. But I wanted to offer the whole customer experience, hence the sofas. So things like, when I go out shopping with my girlfriends, my feet are absolutely killing me and I want to sit down, but there's not even one chair because it's valuable selling space.
They don't even put them in changing rooms anymore in some shops.
I know. So we have a stall in the changing room that you can sit down at. We have a sofa here, you know, in front of our mirrors, which you can't see because it's behind the cameras, our magic mirrors where you can see your back view and your front view. So that if you're with friends or partners, they can sit down, you can come out the fitting room, you can get some advice. That was really
chair downstairs as well.
We've got a chair downstairs.
And
a bench. Well, the bench outside came about because of COVID, because we couldn't have them in store. But again, you know, we have people of all ages coming in, and you know, partners. You know, there's nothing worse than seeing. I know when I used to go shopping with my mum, she really used to struggle, and there was never any seats for her to sit down on. So that was really important. Things like having big fitting rooms was really important to me, because there's nothing worse than going in a fitting room trying to bend over and you bang yourself on the wall.
Yes, absolutely.
So yes, we could have had 4 fitting rooms, but we decided to have 2 big ones for those reasons. We also offer a loyalty program, and again that goes back to me shopping in shops. You know, I used to come into town on a Friday and go to the bank and go to certain shops, spend, you know, a fair bit of money. I'm really coughing, aren't I? Sorry, this isn't. I should have a nice posh glass of wine or something. Put some Coke out. A bit of advertising there for Pepsi Max.
Yeah, you were saying, because obviously with things like the loyalty and the changing rooms, it's about the customer experience, and it's about what you can kind of give back to people, isn't it?
And also having, you know, saying thank you to loyal customers that come back and shop with us. And you know, the loyalty program means that they get equivalent to like a 4% discount. And we can then send them the odd email, let us know about events that we do. Well, pre-COVID we did events. So it's the whole shopping experience, and for me, it's talking to customers. So we always greet customers when they come in the door, and 99% of the time we'll say hello, we'll say goodbye. We ask if people want help, but we get a balance between stepping back. You know, some people, especially me, I don't like to be hassled. And I say to the girls, don't ask customers if they're having a nice day, because when people say that to me and they don't mean it, I can tell that they don't mean it. So, you know, are you having a nice day?
Keep it natural. Have a natural conversation.
And we are very curious here. I love to talk to people. We do chat. We get to know people. But then there are other people that prefer just to come in, do their shopping.
Absolutely.
But yeah, a smile doesn't cost anything.
No, you're right. And I think that's so important
lacking
for businesses nowadays. And I think that's possibly kind of where I'm coming from with the idea of the department stores going out. They're almost as nameless and faceless as being on an online store, just without the convenience. So I think places like Ruby Lala will really come into their own now on the high street, you know, as the older shops are kind of
Well, I think
away.
particularly that, you know, especially this month being mental health awareness, it is so important that we communicate, that we talk,
with your background,
that we have
of course,
contact.
in psychotherapy, you know about that.
You know, and we're not interested in people anymore. We're not curious. You know, somebody said to me, "Isn't that being nosy?" Well, people don't have to tell me if they don't want to.
Exactly.
But you know, I've met some wonderful, wonderful people. I feel very privileged to do what I do, and I love it. Don't get me wrong; it's the hardest thing I've ever done. It, you know, it can be really stressful running your own business. Would I, knowing what I do 2 years down the line, would I still open up a shop? Yes, I would.
That's really lovely. That's really good.
I didn't know what I would do.
No.
I wanted to come out of the profession that I was in for various reasons, open up a shop. Yeah, let's go for it. And I'm really glad I did.
Good. That's so lovely.
But it is hard work.
Yeah. Well, yes, but I mean,
and it's 24/7.
all the best things are. Look at childbirth.
And that's 24/7 when they arrive.
Well, that's true. Yeah, very similar to Ruby. So really, your mission at the beginning was to create a hub, wasn't it? Sort of for the community to be able to come and sort of look at beautiful things, have a sit down, have a coffee, a bit of socialising, and really create like a little hub.
Play on our Space Invader machine.
Yeah. Oh yes, I saw that with that. We need to get that back out.
Yeah.
So I would say personally that you have succeeded in your mission so far. Do you feel like that?
I think there's a long way to go. I mean, people say the first 2 to 3 years of a business is really hard, and I know that from when I set up my psychotherapy practice. It took 2 to 3 years, and obviously COVID has set us back a year. So you know, I say we're still only a year in. I think we have succeeded to where we want to be. There's lots to do, but that's the whole point of anything. We evolve.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we will be
We've got to keep growing, haven't we? So what made you choose, well, Farnham? I know obviously you went to Fleet, but why Farnham? Because you don't actually live in Farnham, do you? You're outside of it. So
well, on the outskirts, we live in Frencham, so 2 miles outside of Farnham. It's such a beautiful town. You know, who wouldn't want to have a shop in Farnham? It's beautiful. And the people are lovely. You know, touch wood. We have been here 2 years and we've not had, you know, I've not had a problem with a customer. I think people like, you know, we treat people with respect. I think that then you earn respect
back, doesn't it? Yeah.
So yeah, I just love Farnham. It's beautiful, just a beautiful town. So why would
Farnham loves you. So
that's good to know.
Mutual. So with your workplace, what is sort of the culture in your shop with your girls and sort of was there something that you kind of wanted to create specifically, or was it sort of like let's just see how it goes?
Okay, so when we employ people, we don't ask for retail experience because that can be learned. What we do ask for, what is the most priority to us, is customer service, but genuine customer service. Like I say, if someone isn't authentic, you can tell someone's not being authentic. So we've got lovely Lydia that works for us, and she joined us when she was just 16. She's now 18, and she's amazing, and she's just fantastic with the customers, but she's genuine. She genuinely is interested in people. And then I have my niece Gemma that works for me. Loyal, she's family. I couldn't have done it without her. So that's, you know, and they are good with customers. That is their main strengths, and that's what is important to me. But it has to be genuine because people, you know, it has to be authentic. You have to be curious in people. You have to. The other stuff you can learn, but that, you know, so that is the most important thing to us.
It is kind of like a little sort of family here, isn't it? Almost. I know Gemma obviously is family, but it feels like sort of the girls who work here, the women who work here as well, that they are family almost to you. And Ruby Lala is like a little family.
Well, we have had men as well. So my nephew has worked between, you know, he sometimes helps out on his holidays from university. He's finished university now, but you know, he'd help out, and everybody loved Harry too. You know, we've been very lucky.
Yeah.
I feel very privileged, and I have lots of compliments about my staff,
That's lovely, isn't it?
which is really lovely. And I believe in looking after staff as well. So we have, you know, we do have like staff meetings, and we'll go out for a meal in the evening. You know, that is really important. It's important to be happy at work, because if you're not happy at work, then that's no good, really.
And it shows, I think, you know, for the people who work, who the customers, you know, if someone's not wanting to be there or having, you know, not happy at work, it comes across, and it really does feel, whenever I come in here, it just feels like you're just sort of walking into sort of the family, Ruby Lala family.
Yeah, it does feel like that.
So what do you attribute your success to? So success so far, what would you sort of say was your foundation?
I think, I don't know if this is the right answer, but I would say don't be frightened to fail. In the, you know, don't be frightened to make mistakes. Don't be frightened to get things wrong. Don't be frightened to learn on the job. Just don't be frightened, you know, and bounce back. I've surrounded myself with people that have been supportive and helpful. Farnham's been very supportive and helpful. The customers have been very supportive and helpful.
Did you have professional support as well? Was it just kind of your husband and
no, just us?
just
and
you
like
guys?
I say,
just being fearless. Yeah.
Not just. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm scared, terrified of spiders, so I'm not fearless. But yeah, I think just you know, you can bounce back from things. You can do things, and just passion. You know, I've just wanted to create that shopping experience. That has been the most important thing to me. That people come through the door and they enjoy the shopping experience.
Have that kind of social time.
Yeah.
I think that's what makes you really unique as well. That's sort of your USP, really.
Yeah, definitely.
What was I going to say? So you were saying, obviously, you've had the support of Farnham, of your customers. So apart from obviously the loyalty scheme and your lovely environment here, what else do you feel that Ruby Lala kind of gives back or shares with the community?
Okay, so my eldest son is disabled, Lyndon, and he attends Post-19, which is an organisation based in Farnham that supports young adults with learning difficulties. They have been amazing. So Lyndon is now 27. He's been attending Post-19 since he was 19. Rob Powers started it up, but again, a bit like us really, probably just with a couple of staff. It's quite, I want to say a large organisation that's probably going to not do it very much justice, because they are very
hands-on.
So even Rob will be with the young adults, and he's probably running a business. I know what it's like. He's probably got 101 things to do.
But it's his passion. You have 101 things, but you're here.
Yes. And to me, still, I always like to be in the shop, because that's where my strength is, and that's what I enjoy most. I don't really want to be doing the accounts and all of that stuff. I'm resisting the marketing. I know you're telling me I need to help you more on that, but you know, I'd be quite happy just being in the shop. But obviously, I do have to have other things. But yeah, so Rob runs Post-19. His staff have been with him from the beginning, and he's added to that. But they've been amazing with Lyndon. So when we do event evenings, quite often it will be any money that we make from that. So we do raffles and stuff. So any proceeds from the raffles goes to Post-19. I know there's other charities, and people do approach us, and we do try. We have a budget that we do sort of help some people out. But Post-19 is my passion. I know there's the Phyllis Tuckwell Hospice, but a lot of people raise funds for the Phyllis Tuckwell. So Post-19 quite often get overlooked. And we are talking about having a fashion. It was supposed to happen last summer, but it obviously didn't with COVID. But we were going to have a big fashion show and a big event off-site. And we had asked some of the young adults from Post-19 whether they want to come and do some modelling and stuff. So we're hoping that might happen latter part of this summer, but if not, maybe around Christmas or early part of next year, whenever COVID will allow us to do it. But they would love doing something like that. You know, I know Lyndon would just love to, you know, if some of the ladies put on some of our outfits, they would love to. Lyndon would love to walk down the walk with somebody.
A gentleman, lovely.
Got a hamburger at the end of it.
I think it's really nice, isn't it, to be able to give back to the community. I mean, it's such an important part of running.
I mean, I'd love to
business.
do more, and I will get more involved. It's just setting up a
baby
business
takes
yourself,
so
much
I
time.
think it's amazing that you know what you've done so far, really. So yeah.
Well, I've loved it, and of course you came in as a customer to the shop, and it's only through talking to you that we find out your talents, and you know now you're on board with Ruby Lala. It's just so lovely. Yeah, I know we love you too. It's just so lovely. Yeah,
thank you. Well, I've shot my Barbie book. I'm sure there's
That
a
must
million
be the
other questions.
There is, and there's probably so much more to say, and I've coughed my way through half of it.
Poor thing.
But yeah, I don't
It's
know why,
wonderful.
but thank goodness for Pepsi Max.
It's been so nice to kind of find out a bit more, and hopefully, some of that might have even sort of motivated a few people.
I hope so. I hope so.
Step out the comfort zone.
Yeah. I suppose that is the principle. The fact really is just to have a go at something.
I think especially at the moment with the current sort of climate, the way it is with businesses shutting down left, right, and centre, people being laid off. Taking that chance and starting your own business, that could be the way forward for so many people.
I think independence is the way forward. A lot of people say to me, just very quickly, what about your competitors and stuff like that? And this is where I say I'm probably not a businesswoman, because my philosophy, probably not rightly or wrongly I guess, is that if there's more independence in Farnham, it's good, because people will say, let's go to Farnham shopping. There's 3 or 4 boutiques. It makes it worthwhile. Whereas if I was going to a town and there was only 1 boutique, I might think twice and go somewhere else.
That's a really good point.
But to me, if we've got some really lovely shops supporting each other, then I think that's actually a good thing, because people will want to come to Farnham.
I agree. It's about building each other up as well, isn't it? Not
and doing things slightly different. We are slightly different at Ruby Lala.
Definitely.
We do different things here.
Yeah.
And hopefully there's something for everybody. And all age groups.
And also I think the pricing and everything, there's just a little bit of something for everyone, every age, every price, every whatever event, there's just something for everyone, and I think that is really lovely. It's fabulous.
Yeah.
Well done.
So we're here to stay.
Good.
Yeah, I hope people come along and meet us.
Yeah.
Thanks very much, Charlotte.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah,